Safeway sources the best beef cattle breeds in southern Africa for export markets. Our footprint extends over South Africa, Namibia, and Botswana. Safeway works closely with procurement agents to purchase commercial cattle. Procurement agents such as Grainvest Livestock are used. Grainvest Livestock forms a subsidiary of the Russell Stone Group. Procurement agents have existing relationships and trust built up with farmers within the industry, which is indispensable to Safeway. The procurement agents will carry out their role as Safeway representatives and not as independent traders. This defined allegiance to Safeway will prevent agency problems from arising, where agents trade with their personal objectives in mind, to the detriment of Safeway. Grainvest Livestock, backed by the Russell Stone Group, can fulfill this role. The procurement liaison officer has been identified as Petrus van Heerden. He has extensive experience in procuring cattle for both commercial and feedlot farmers in South Africa and Namibia. Land transport is planned and is undertaken on a competently operated and suitable vehicle, with the livestock being handled in a manner that prevents injury and minimizes stress throughout the journey. Required outcomes: A. Only livestock fit to travel are presented for loading. B. Livestock are loaded in a manner that prevents injury and minimizes stress. C. Transport of livestock is undertaken in a manner that meets the requirements of the state or province relating to the transport of livestock, and importing country requirements. D. Livestock are unloaded in a manner that prevents injury and minimizes stress. Vessel preparation includes the selection and preparation of a suitable shipping line to transport the livestock to the port of discharge. Safeway has identified SPEDAG Switzerland to possibly assume the role of the logistics freight manager. Gary Jeffers is a potential candidate for the position of freight logistics manager to Safeway from SPEDAG. Refer to Appendix 7.8. The vessels nominated by Safeway originate from the Jordanian livestock shipping fleet owned by Emirates Future. Emirates Future has one of the most sophisticated and the largest livestock vessel fleet in the world. Refer to Appendix 7.7. Each vessel comes with a specialized team of stockmen and veterinary officials to monitor the animals, thus ensuring the safe transit of the cattle. Each animal is afforded sufficient space, feed and water to minimize stress and complications. The shipping line loads on feed for the transit journey at the port of loading, which is supplied by Safeway. Fresh water is produced by the desalination plant on board the ship. Safeway will ensure that the vessels used will exceed international standards for animal welfare. Once the vessel docks in Malaysia, the cattle are offloaded at the port into a quarantine station to be monitored by Malaysian animal health officials. The assembly of livestock for export commences with the unloading of the first animal into the quarantine premises, and ends with the departure of the last animal from the quarantine premises, whether or not passed as fit for feedlot. Livestock will be held in secure premises for a sufficient period of time to enable recovery from the sea voyage and to meet Malaysian requirements. Preparation of livestock will comply with this standard. Livestock will also be inspected and deemed fit for feedlot before leaving the premises. The premises will be used for holding and assembling livestock for feedlot, and will be registered in accordance with the legislation. The premises operator is responsible for the maintenance, security and operation of the premises, including the provision of appropriate shelter, feed and water supply systems, animal husbandry and care by competent animal handlers. The premises operator will be able to demonstrate to the Ministry of Agriculture that the management of the livestock at the registered premises accords with the specifications set out in the risk management plan for the consignment and the Malaysian requirements for the registered premises. These standards are relevant to each stage of the livestock export chain and should be reflected in relevant quality assurance programs. Livestock sourced for feedlot will meet any requirement under a law of a province. The State Ministry of Agriculture is responsible for ensuring that these jurisdictional requirements are met under respective provincial and national legislation. The Malaysian Ministry of Agriculture will be satisfied that the requirements and the standards have been met before allowing the animals into feedlot. Feedlots feed cattle to add muscle and fat to tissues. Beef is given a quality grade based on the amount of intramuscular fat. Prime cuts generally bring higher prices and are primarily marketed to export markets or to the hotel and restaurant trade. Safeway will make use of a backgrounder, stocker feeding operation that utilizes a combination of pasture-based, grass, winter wheat, crop residues, corn stalks, wheat stubble, and dry lots to prepare weaned calves to be raised in a feedlot. Some cattle will be selected for direct entry into the feedlot while others will be backgrounded and eventually be finished off at feedlot. The cattle have plenty of room to move around in the open-air feedlot pens and have free access to feed and water. Cattle will typically spend 120 days in the feedlot where they are fed nutritionally balanced rations until they reach the optimum weight for slaughter. The development of feeding rations is a very precise science. Feed for cattle must supply enough energy, protein, minerals and vitamins to meet the nutritional requirements of the age of the cattle being fed. It takes approximately 9.6 kilograms of feed grain to produce 1.5 to 2 kilograms of weight gain in the cattle per day. The target exit weight of the cattle from feedlot is 480 kilograms. At abattoir, the animals will be received on trucks at the reception area and offloaded. An ante-mortem inspection is then conducted in the reception area to determine the animal's conditions. Healthy animals are sent to the lairages. Animals with questionable health are sent to a quarantine section. Animals that arrive dead are sent to the post-mortem area for destruction. Animals that arrive injured are either sent to the emergency slaughter area or, if unfit, to the post-mortem area for killing and destruction. Animals will be taken from the lairages and emergency slaughter area to where slaughter takes place. Once killed, the animals pass from the dirty area to the clean area where the following takes place. A. Removal of heads and feet. B. Removal of hides or skins. C. Evisceration. D. Carcass is split. E. Primary meat inspections, and F. Secondary meat inspection. If the carcasses pass the primary meat inspection, they pass through a final washing process and are sent for hanging and chilling. The offal is sent to the rough offal cleaning room and then sent to the outloading area. Condemned trimmings or organs are sent to the condemnation area in lockable containers for destruction. The abattoir will have the latest and the most advanced processing technology and equipment, ensuring the highest quality of product that suits consumer requirements. In the scenario analysis, Safeway used two models. The best case scenario sees an average South African weaner market and the base case scenario sees an inflated one. The cost associated with producing 268.8 kilograms of beef and 120 kilograms of offal per animal at a slaughter percentage of 56% follows. The remaining 91.2 kilograms is waste. In the best case scenario, the cost is 48 South African rand and 74 cents, and in the base case scenario it is 56 South African rand and 29 cents. At an exchange rate of 1 ringgit to 2 South African rand and 93 cents, this equates to 16.64 ringgit and 19.21 ringgit, respectively.